What if the reason you don't have enough time in your workday isn't simply that you have too much work? What if it's that you're saying yes to too many things you should be saying no to? If you want to get more time back, this may be one of the simplest places to start. Maybe it's a client you probably shouldn't have taken, a meeting that didn't need to happen, a task someone else could have handled, or a commitment you agreed to because saying no felt uncomfortable. One yes at a time, you can fill your calendar with work and obligations that leave less time for better clients, more profitable work, growing your firm, or simply having a life outside of it. In this video, I'm going to show you three things. First, how to figure out what you should be saying no to, because not every task, client, meeting, or opportunity deserves your time. Second, how to say no without damaging relationships, disappointing people, or feeling like you're turning away good opportunities. And third, how to make sure the time you get back actually goes towards something better instead of just getting filled up with more work. By the end, you should have a much clearer way to decide what deserves your time, what doesn't, and how to protect the space you create. One of the most important things to understand is that every yes has a cost. When you say yes to a client, meeting, task, favor, or opportunity, you're not just committing time to that thing. You're also taking that time away from something else. That something else might be a better client, higher value legal work, marketing your firm, building systems, training your team, spending time with your family, exercising, doing something you enjoy, or simply finishing work at a reasonable hour. Actor Tom Hanks puts it a great way. Every time you say yes to something you don't really want, you're actually saying no to the things you do. Think about your week like a jar full of rocks and sand. The big rocks represent the things that really matter: your high value work, your best clients, marketing, family, health, and the other priorities you say are important. Then you have the smaller rocks and sand representing all the smaller things: meetings, routine work, interruptions, favors, bad fit clients, tasks that could have been delegated. If you fill the jar with the smaller rocks and the sand first, eventually there's no room left for the big rocks. That's what happens when you say yes by default. You fill your week with everyone else's priorities and then wonder why there's no time left for your own. So, getting more time back isn't always about figuring out how to do everything faster. Sometimes the fastest way to get more time back is to stop putting certain things into the jar in the first place. And that starts with knowing what deserves a no. Before you say yes to something, ask yourself a few questions. Is this worth the time it's going to take? Is this something only I can do? Does this move me towards the kind of practice or life I actually want? And maybe most important, what am I giving up if I say yes? That applies to bad fit clients, unnecessary meetings, low value work, tasks you should delegate, favors you're accepting out of guilt, and opportunities that sound good but don't really fit your priorities. Don't just ask, can I fit this in? Ask, is this worth what it's going to push out? This is also where the Tom Hanks rule can help with optional commitments. If you find yourself having to talk yourself into saying yes, that may be a sign that you should reconsider. The next problem is actually saying no. Most lawyers know they can say no. The hard part is worrying about disappointing someone, losing an opportunity, or looking unhelpful. A good no can be clear, polite, and brief. If someone asks you to take on a commitment, you can say, I appreciate your thinking of me, but I'm not able to take that on right now. If someone wants you in a meeting, you might say, I don't think I need to be in that meeting. Send me anything you need my input on. If it's a prospective client who isn't a good fit, you can say, I don't think we're the best fit for this matter, but I appreciate your reaching out. You don't need a long explanation, and you don't need to invent an excuse. You can say no to the request without saying no to the relationship. If it makes sense, offer an alternative. Refer the person to someone else. Suggest a shorter meeting. Have someone on your team handle it, or suggest another time if the opportunity is worthwhile, but the timing isn't right. Now let's talk about what happens after you say no, because this part matters just as much. If you say no to something and then immediately fill that time with another low value commitment, you haven't really gained anything. So when you reclaim time, decide in advance what that time is for. Maybe it's higher value client work. Maybe it's marketing and business development. Maybe it's working on systems, strategic thinking, spending time with your family, the other things I mentioned. And when you can, actually put that time on your calendar before something else takes it. If you don't decide what the time you get back is for, somebody else will. The whole point of taking something out of the jar is to make room for something that matters more. Now, here's one bonus point that can make all of this easier. Stop giving people an immediate yes. A lot of unnecessary commitments happen because someone asks us to do something and we feel like we have to answer right away. You don't. You can say, let me check my calendar, or let me think about that before I commit, or I need to look at what I already have on my plate. That small pause gives you time to apply the filter we just talked about instead of making an emotional decision in the moment. You don't have to decide just because someone asked. Learning to say no is one of the simplest ways to start getting your time back. But it's only one part of taking control of your day and making sure your time is going towards the things that actually matter. If you're a solo or small firm lawyer who feels like there's never enough time to get everything done, I go much deeper into this in my book on time management. I'll show you practical ways to take greater control of your schedule, get more of the important work done, and stop allowing your practice to consume every available hour of your day. I'll put a link to the book in the description below. And once you start saying no and creating that space in your calendar, there's another challenge: protecting it. Because it's one thing to reclaim 2 or 3 hours, it's another to keep those hours from being swallowed up again by emails, interruptions, client demands, and whatever happens to feel urgent that day. So if you want to make sure that time you get back actually stays yours, watch these videos next, where I show you how to protect your time from interruptions and distractions.